Hi everybody, and welcome back to this video. This is the third one that we've made, and we show no sign of stopping. We've got tons of new topics planned. So I wanted to let you know that I've reactivated my dormant Facebook page and a dormant blog. We'll post these videos on the Facebook page, which might make it easier to find them. Of course, you get to subscribe if you want to find them again. And I'm also writing a blog, which under my name, I'll put up a lot more detail about the plants and the techniques and things that we can't include in the videos. I find that it's all very well to take refuge in my garden and just play at being God with native plants and seeing if I can make the longest list of plants and birds and bugs happy in my garden. But one of the topics that sort of obsesses me is the question of food production and whether or not we could not all be more self-sufficient and more dependent on locally produced, sustainably grown food. And to that end, my garden is full of things that are food sources. So I feel particularly responsible here because I am blessed with the most extraordinary piece of soil. The little bit of land that my house and garden live on is an amazing and quite unusual piece of deep, well-drained, light soil. It's amazingly workable. It's incredibly easy to grow anything in. It tends to dry out rather rapidly in the summer and doesn't hold fertility terribly well. So to grow food, you need gobs and gobs of organic matter added to the soil. We have a beautiful vegetable garden on this property, which we will show you. It belongs to and is gardened by a friend who is younger, stronger, and more knowledgeable than I am on vegetable garden production. He grows a beautiful garden which feeds a lot of people. But within my garden and interspersed all around the whole garden, there are a lot of edibles here. So I have two huge crops, which is the asparagus and my raspberries, which are just now picking. This is the first picking, and I have the best raspberries, the biggest patch of the biggest berries. I also have, I counted up last night, easily 12 different kinds of small fruit, mostly berries of one sort or another. Some of them are very interesting, some of them are very common. I have probably 8 to 10 different tree fruits, which are just trees scattered around the yard. There's one little bit where I kind of made a mini orchard, but otherwise, apart from that, they're just part of the garden. They all yield amazing amounts of food. The only thing better than or as good as sharing garden is sharing food with friends. There are a few things like runner beans. Scarlet runner beans are something English people have to have. I grow them in tubs, and they just make another piece of my garden that I enjoy playing with. I grow potatoes in a tub as well because they're so much fun to harvest. Because I would like to keep my garden as much with native plants as possible, I started getting interested in what native plants are also food bearers. So it's quite a long list, and I've got the little native plum, Prunus americana, which people overlook because it's a scruffy little plant. It makes a sort of ugly thicket, which is exactly what I want down by the road. Grows almost anywhere. Produces in a good year lots of very nice little fruit, which are rather sweet, tasty little plums with a thick skin and a lot of pit. But there's a lot of lovely flesh in there that you can make jams, pies, jellies out of. The beach plum is another obvious one. But interestingly, I've got a plantation of honeyberries. And honeyberries are very fashionable right now. There are articles being written about them. And I've got an interesting collection of honeyberries because I've got the ones that are actually Siberian. It's Lonicera cerulea, and they are listed as natives sometimes, but they're not. They're very closely related to the native one, which is Lanicera villosa. They're honeysuckle plants, little bush honeysuckles, and they produce a very interesting little fruit, which is known as a hascap berry, which are delicious. We got about 4 this year, 4 berries off the newly planted plants, and they were tasty. So I've got the native one, which is actually native to Maine. Got them from the University of Maine's project, and they haven't fruited yet, but they are said to be good too. And then the one that is sort of not native, but passes almost for native, which is the Siberian Russian one. Then I've also got elderberries, and right now they're in bloom, and I make elderflower cordial out of the flowers and save some of the flower clusters for berries, which make lovely jams and syrups. Black raspberries, another one. Huge patch of black raspberries, blackberries. I planted big store-bought, well-selected varieties of both of those so that I'll get some really nice big fruit off them, and going to let them be a thicket in the back 40 because they're too hard to control and they can just grow there and get huge, and we'll pick them when they get ripe. So that's food in my garden.